across the world, and we are very honoured to be ambassadors for both the Royal Air Force and the UK as a whole.
Get my phone out.
So that's our roles. We demonstrate the excellence of the Royal Air Force. We also assist in defence diplomacy, help the British industry and support recruiting to the UK Armed Forces. But one of our roles is simply to inspire. And just as I was inspired to join the Royal Air Force after watching the Red Arrows at the Big Hill Air Show when I was growing up, I hope lots of you kids here today take some inspiration from what you're going to see, and maybe that might lead to a career in aviation, or even if it's just joining the Air Training Corps, which is celebrating its 75th anniversary this year. If you're 12 years or older and you want to join the Air Training Corps, then look on their website. And you just Google Air Training Corps, you can become an air cadet. You'll take part in lots of adventurous training and flying and shooting and gliding, and it's a very good lead-in for a career in the military. So, just over a minute to run now. We've got a new start of our display this year. We've actually changed the display quite a lot. So you'll see some new manoeuvres, some classic manoeuvres, and some manoeuvres making a comeback that haven't been flown for a number of years. When the jets arrive, they're going to be in a fabulous wall formation. This formation is 950 feet wide. So get your cameras set to wide, and you'll get the fabulous backdrop of the big one and the Red Arrow Skyforce in the background as it's spinning there. Now I just heard Red White tell the boys he's going to start with a full display, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh yeah.
He's even caveat that with what we call a touch of skosh. Now, a touch of skosh means at the top of the loop, we might lose them for a second if they go into cloud. So that's a touch of skosh, but I'm sure it will be absolutely fine. Is everyone here ready to see the Red Arrows? Let's hear you, everybody. Let's have a huge welcome as here they come in wall. It's the Royal Air Force Aerobatic Team for 2016. It's the Red Arrows.
I thought it was over the big one.
Come on, boys.
400 miles an hour. They part at 4G in that fabulously wide wall formation. Now watch, the jets are collapsing to around 6 feet apart as they reach 6,000 feet above us. Got a touch of skosh up there. We're lucky with the cloud base. And you can see our famous dynamite shape. The jet's slowing down to about 150 miles an hour as they press the loop. The voice of Red One there, who's the team's leader, squad leader David Montenegro, and it's his second year leading the team. David is a former Hawk flying instructor and Tornado F3 air defence pilot. He actually joined the Red Arrows back in 2009, completing 3 years, which culminated in leading the synchro pair, before then going on to be an instructor and then coming back to lead the Red Arrows. The smoke goes off to the right. We're in the shape of the space shuttle. Cameras ready as the boys fly the shuttle roll. Going upside down now, 2,500 feet at 400 miles an hour. The wingtips of those jets are around 6 to 8 feet away from each other. Now the front wing on the right, the front of the right wing, is the first of our 2 new pilots this year. He is Red 2 Flight Lieutenant Matt Masters. Matt started his career instructing on the Tucano, teaching basic fast jet training. He then moved on to fly the Tornado F3, and then moved on to fly the Hawk with number 100 Squadron, which is an aggressive unit, which acts as targets for our frontline aircraft. Front left now, we're forming a new shape. This one is called Apollo, and it was given its name back in the 1960s when NASA's Apollo program was in full swing. We've got the space shuttle, we've got Apollo. There's a bit of a space theme because this year we are celebrating Major Tim Peake and his achievements of being the first British astronaut on board the International Space Station. Let's have a round of applause for Tim as we show you Apollo. Reds 2 and 3 acknowledge the move to Typhoon. They do so with a very set cadence in their voices. The idea is that all of the pilots count in their heads, continuing that cadence. And on the count of 4, the pilots extend their air brakes. And on the count of 6, they retract their air brakes, and that means that the jets move back together to form this shape, which is reminiscent of the delta wing planform of our multi-role combat aircraft. This is Typhoon.
Look at that.
Now, the other of our new pilots used to fly the Typhoon. He's on the front left wing of this Typhoon shape, and he's Red 3, Flight Lieutenant Si Taylor. Si actually started off flying the Tornado GR4, but then moved on to fly the Typhoon, where he spent a tour on the front line, then moved on to be an instructor at the Operational Conversion Unit. Front right now, the boys get ready for a brand new manoeuvre for 2016, which celebrates the Royal Air Force's fast jet workhorse, which has been on near enough continuous operations for 25 years. Since the start of Operation Granby in the First Gulf War, the Tornado Bomber Force has been around the world on operations. So, 8 and 9, about to roll around, Reds 1 to 7. This is Tornado. Now, 6 of the 9 display pilots you see flying have in fact been former Tornado bomber pilots. One of those is Red 5, who's on the left-hand side of that front 7 arrow shape. He's Flight Lieutenant Emmett Cox. And Cox is actually from New Zealand. He moved across the UK in 2002 to join the Royal Air Force and became a Tornado pilot before then moving on to be an instructor teaching basic fast jet training on Tucano aircraft. Now normally, Reds 2 and 3, the new boys, are very lucky. They have a very stable platform next to Red 1. But out to the front left, you can see the wings have dropped right the way back to being Red 7's aircraft at the back of the formation. You've got to remember that each of the pilots is ignoring the aircraft that's only 6 feet away. Everyone has their own reference on the Red 1. So looking now as they pull up in Swan at 4G and 400 miles an hour. So as they reach 6,000 feet, they'll go inverted. The jets have slowed down to about 150 miles an hour. You can see the shape has changed again. Reds 2, 3, 4 and 5 up the front. Reds 8 and 9 at the back to show you the shape of feathered arrow, which is called Fred for short. Now twisting to the left. Cameras ready for this fabulous Fred or feathered arrow. Looking to the back left, number 9 is Flight Lieutenant Joe Hurston. Joe is in his 3rd and final year as a Red Arrows pilot. That's him at the back, at the top of the back as you see, next to Red 7. So Red 9 started off as a Hawk instructor, teaching on this aircraft, the Hawk T Mark 1, and he moved on to fly the Tornado GR4, and then back to the Hawk, but this time in the guise of the Royal Air Force's newest training aircraft, the new Hawk. The BAE Systems Hawk T Mark 2, and that was Joe. He's at the top as we look at it now, on the far right as we see it. Rolling out now in a shape called Big Vixen. Ready for the Big Vixen roll. Coming towards us now, canopies on, let's give the pilots a wave, everybody! On the far right is Red 8, he's Flight Lieutenant Stu Campbell, and he's another 3rd year who's about to leave the team at the end of this season. Stu started off as a Tucano instructor, then moved on to fly the Tornado GR4. In fact, he has the Tucano display card. I believe he displayed here back in 2008.